Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to the Power of Interracial Sisterhood, closing the space between us. I'm Karen Fleshman, founder of the Interracial Sisterhood Coalition, and I'm so grateful to be joined here today by Anita Gail Jones, author, artist, scholarship fund administrator, and just wonderful, wonderful human being. Thank you so much for being here, Anita.
Thank you, Karen, for having me and for creating this wonderful coalition. I'll talk about it a little later, but I just want to upfront thank you. I'm so glad that our mutual friend Tanya Holland, shout out to Tanya, introduced us because what you've created here is something special, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yay, thank you so much. And I've been doing the Interracial Sisterhood Coalition since 2017, but just in May started this series of monthly events in the Bay Area. And you have come to every single event. You've been like the first person to sign up. You've brought your friends. And
Yeah.
I'm just so delighted that Tanya brought us together and that we're here co-creating together. And you had some thoughts about why interracial sisterhood is needed, and I'd love for you to share a little bit about that.
I have been to all of them, haven't I? And that says a lot because I don't go to a lot of stuff if I don't want to be there. So this idea of culture, and in as much as culture is humankind's response to its environment, and this is manifested in many ways: art, language, food, science, story, all those things that we as humans create that we call culture. Uh, in as much as that is true, what you're creating with interracial sisterhood is building a very beautiful culture of diverse women. And when I say diverse, I don't just mean over race, but over class, over um, sex, and all the lines. Everybody is welcome into that room, so long as they're willing to do the work. So what we are now doing together is we're manifesting our own response to a hostile environment, a very pervasive hostile environment, and we know what the name of it is: patriarchy. So the question is, why wouldn't I want to be in that room? Because there's Karen. So why wouldn't I want to be a part of that? Not only for myself, but for my daughter, for and the future generations. So that's my why about showing up. And it doesn't hurt that it's in a beautiful location with a beautiful view and cocktails and food. I mean, at the end of the day, girls want to have fun, right? So, and there's nothing wrong with having fun while you tackle a very serious issue. So,
100%.
100%.
Yeah, as I like to say, what's really not fun? Patriarchy and white supremacy. That stuff is not fun.
That's not fun.
So going up against it, that
Mhm.
is fun. That there is a joyful aspect to it.
And there
I'm
needs
I'm not trying to minimize
mm,
the anguish and the grief and the deep reflection that is needed.
right.
But I want to be joyful, and I want people to want to come to these things and be a part of it. And what, I guess maybe that's a question. What has made you want to come to it?
I want to come to it because culture does not happen in a bubble. Individual people, one person does not a culture make. So, and a monoculture is not good for plants or for people. So, I want to be a part of a group that's doing that. That was my main attraction. The first one I came to in Sausalito, and when I got there, and the golden hour was happening, and the cocktails were, and women were sitting around talking and chatting, and those pictures that you have really capture what was going on in that room. And I've been in a lot of rooms where this was the goal, Somehow it wasn't the result. So after that first one, I said, okay, this is worth repeating. So it was because of the mix of those entities, and I knew going in that not all of those moments were going to be comfortable. If we've been talking about race face to face with white women, I already knew that wasn't going to be necessarily comfortable all the time. So if whatever I can bring to make it more attractive to go into that discomfort, and then we can help each other with our discomfort over a glass of wine, and that doesn't hurt. So yeah, it's all a part of the same goal, and it's being beautifully handled. I just hope more women will come, because you really have to be in that room to feel it for yourself.
Mhm.
So give it one try at least. I guarantee you want to come back. But yeah, it's really a special mix.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I just put the link to the Eventbrite to purchase tickets. It may not appear on all platforms. So if you want to join us, we're talking about the power of interracial sisterhood, closing the space between us on July 20th in Sausalito, California. You can secure your ticket at interracialsisterhoodcoalition.com. Event in Sausalito. You'll see it right there at the top of the website. Um,
Can
oh, sorry.
it's still sliding scale at this point, right? The tickets?
Yes. There's
Or
sliding scale tickets. So
mhm.
you pick your own price if you want to come as a uh, artist, activist, student, uh, elderly person. Uh, uh, you have a $10 ticket. If you want to be the heart of the room, you have a $30 ticket. And if you want to support other women's uh, uh, opportunity to come, you have a $75 ticket. But everybody is welcome in the space, and there's no tier in terms of what you
Yes.
receive. We're all there together.
And that is an example of what this woman is creating. She's making it accessible to all. Pick your level, and that's wonderful. I wanted
Thank you
to
so
absolutely
much.
mention that because it's important.
I wanted to share a little bit about why I found this type of event to be necessary. And what I noticed is that um, women of color, women of the global majority, were organizing spaces for their healing, that they very intentionally wanted to be for women of color, for their group, because part of the thing that they're healing from is white women and white women's um, racism and the different aggressions that we inflict on them. So they wanted a safe space away from white women to be together and to heal. And then white women were organizing spaces for women's empowerment, such as employee resource groups or political clubs or any kind of thing, really. It could be gardening, whatever it was, that they ostensibly thought, oh, well, this is for all women, but no women of color were involved, or maybe they came once or twice and then stopped going. So it became like a de facto, all white women's space. And I was like, we need, not everybody wants this, but for the women who do want this, for the women who do want a space where women of different ethnicities and also of different generations, and also open to trans women, gender expansive people, come, come be a part of this, right? We're not saying only cis women. Um, yeah, that this would be a space for all of us to get together, but that with some certain community agreements and a certain, as you said, culture where we can have generative conversations, open and honest, about the things that do divide us, with the goal of creating a society where all women are safe and free, and that within our group that women are safe and free, if that makes sense. That
Yeah.
we're going to hold, like, if because you know women come to this, sometimes they do harmful things. We observed that at our most recent session, which led us to want to do this one, that's more around these interracial interactions and what are some do's and don'ts in them,
Yeah.
so that we can prevent harm from occurring and just build people's skills in that area.
Help people figure out their, how we put it, elevator speech, so they have it ready in the moment. Because it's true, this is a very, very volatile, big topic that we're doing. And as much as we're making it light with the hors d'oeuvres and the food and the drink and everything, we, at the core, these are very serious issues and emotions. And you put two women together to talk about it, it's not always going to go that well. And as you mentioned, we had something happen that uh, left a woman of color feeling triggered, and she stood up for herself in the moment, and it was well handled in that moment. But so now we're here to get the tools for handling that sort of thing, and that's another reason I keep coming up with the reasons I'm coming back to the room. I want to work on that elevator speech. I want to know what to say in the moment.
Mm,
I've had that happen where, man, if I could have just had that to say, because these things hit us when we least expect it. You're not ready when that woman says that thing that's like, what did you just say? No, you didn't say that. And you don't know what to do. You don't know what to say. And so you maybe you say the wrong thing. You don't say anything. And later on, of course, you think, oh, that was what I should have said. I wish I had thought of that. Make a note. Whenever you think that's what I should have said, write that one down. Practice it.
practice
That's
it.
what we're talking about doing. We're going to do some role playing on Monday, and then we're going to have people getting together and talking about that. And this is the true diversity work. This is real, in the moment diversity work that really takes. I know that word has become the D word, but it's still a good word. No matter what they're doing to it, it's still a good word and a good goal. That community agreement part is something that's important too.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. And I think what's great about what we're going to do on Monday, so we're first, you and I are going to talk a little bit and share our experiences of interracial interactions and things that we have observed, done, felt, etc., and why these interracial interactions often turn out so poorly for both women and really further push us apart,
Yeah. Widens the gap, right?
widens the gap. And then we're going to offer some tips, because it really, I mean, in these interactions, white women are the ones with the power to make the interaction go badly or well. A lot depends on our self-awareness. So we're going to offer some tips of things, some do's and don'ts in these interactions to make them go better.
Hmm.
And then, like as you said, we're going to also prepare what you're going to say or do in these situations, because women of color have agency too. It's not like they're
Absolutely.
powerless. Yet they have agency.
Two-way street.
but as you and I have talked about,
Hmm.
there's so much intergenerational trauma behind all of this.
Yeah.
And so when something like this happens and it does just kind of come out of the blue, our body's natural survival response is to freeze and to be like, what just
Mm-hmm.
happened?
Mm-hmm.
Should I say something? If I say something, what should I say? If I say something, will she retaliate? Will she escalate? What is like what
Yeah.
there's a lot to unpack there. So I
Yeah.
think what you're saying, to have it in your back pocket, okay,
Mhm.
and to have actually practiced
Yes.
it.
Yes. That's the key. And that's what this room offers. That's one of the beautiful parts of it, is it offers that chance. We're not just sitting in our chairs facing the front, listening to a lecture. We're turning our chairs around and talking to each other and creating little pods around the room. The room is a buzz. And that was another thing that was beautiful about it. It's just like, wow, look at this. Everybody's just talking. And if you really want to be in that little pod, maybe you've already talked. I got up and went to another pod in that room. I said, I'm gonna go see what that person's talking about because I didn't have a chance to. So that's encouraged. You just move around, go here, go there. But what I'd like to do though, right now, is that example
Mm.
talked about that just happened to me. Can I do that? Can I talk about?
Yes, I please do. That
Okay.
is
This just happened on Juneteenth. I was at a festival somewhere here in Marin. That's all I'll say. Marin County, California. Uh, and it started out pretty well. This white woman came up to me. She had read my book, The Peach Seed, my debut novel that came out in 2023. I think she was a part of a book club maybe, and had seen me speak somewhere, and she recognized me. She came up and she was talking to me about the book at first. And of course, I got on the author thing, and I'm happy that, here's a reader. Let me engage with this reader. Instantly, it switched to her telling me the story of how she mentioned it turned into race right quick. She said she had been talking with some friends, or she maybe stood up in a group and commented on a black man being articulate. And
mm,
her white friends then called her on that. And she felt attacked. And what she was doing now in this moment at the Juneteenth festival on the street with me was she was cornering me. This was like a confessional now. She cornered me, the black woman, to vent about this racist occurrence in her life, because now she felt that they were accusing her of being racist by using this word articulate. And we know that this is a very delicate word, because when you say that this person was articulate and that person happens to be a black man, you are assuming that he would not be articulate. And why would you assume that? Just because he's black, he's not going to be articulate. So there's stuff around that word, and we could have a whole workshop on that. But so I was happy that in that moment, first of all, that I realized, oh, we're not talking about the book anymore. It's like, we're talking about her feeling like somebody's called her a racist because she used this word articulate. And what I realized is that what she was looking for from me was absolution around this. She wanted me to then say, oh, I see what you mean. And of course, you didn't mean any harm by using the word articulate. It's just, it's a good word to do. I didn't do that. This was one time that I didn't walk away from that conversation feeling, man, I wish I had said that. What I did say to her was, oh, well, I can understand why there was some concern around that word. Articulate can be a touchy word in these situations. And I then said, because it assumes that that person you're talking about isn't articulate, or even can't be, or shouldn't be. So this was a rare thing that he was. Ooh. We kind of wrapped it up at that point, and she went her way and I went mine. But yeah, those are the moments that we're talking about. And in the room on Monday, and in all of these rooms that you're creating, these are the kind of stories that come out. And people say, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. And then because you've had more experience with it, then you can say, well, here's how I would have handled it, or I did handle it and it went well, or here's what I did and it didn't go well. So maybe now we can get together and figure out a new way to talk about this.
Right. And also raise white women's self-awareness so
Mhm.
they don't do these things in the first place.
And think about it. Yeah.
Yes, or that when they do make a mistake or when they do cause harm and receive feedback on it, that they can receive that feedback with grace and not get defensive, cry, depart,
Mhm. The
you know.
tears. Yeah.
Yeah, to stay present and be like, "Oh."
Right. Because you know what happened in that situation when I said what I said, because she was expecting something totally different from me.
Mhm.
She didn't have, she didn't know what to do in that moment. So what I wished she could have done was say, oh, I hadn't thought of it that way. Because that would show her having empathy instead of sympathy. And that would show her being willing to walk a mile in the shoes of the person who is assumed to not be articulate, who may, for all you know, have a PhD, but because they're Black, you assume that they won't be articulate. So that's what I would wish for that person, that white woman, to have done, and say, let me step back and try to see this from another point of view. That is that thing alone, if you can do that, just say, let me see if I can see this from another point of view. So what you're saying, let me see if I get what you're saying. So what you're saying is that fill in the blank. Oh, okay. And then you don't have to then say, okay, my bad, I'm sorry. You don't have to do any of that. Just say, oh, okay. I can see how that might be the case. And so that now opens you up to a new understanding.
And
Hopefully.
going forward, I'm not gonna do that again.
Exactly. Hopefully. Put a bookmark there and not do that again.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's all. You know, I talk a lot about how my parents were very liberal, open-minded, loving people. They taught me that racism is terrible. Dr. Martin Luther King is wonderful. But because we grew up in an almost entirely white environment, I never saw them
Mm,
interact across difference. I never learned what that looks like. And that's what Audre Lorde told us, that we
mm,
have no patterns of relating across difference as equals. We've never seen that role modeled. And
right.
when you think about even in popular culture, how often do we see it role modeled what it is for a diverse group of women to relate across difference as equals, to be able to listen to each other's perspectives and draw on each other's wisdom. Um,
Right.
and sometimes, I'm not saying everything is like there's never going to be any friction, but how do we navigate these points of friction without separating and breaking apart, but letting it draw us closer, and then that the harmful behavior is not repeated, that the self-awareness comes in, and people learn a better way of interacting so that, yeah, so that we can earn trust.
And that's the beauty of this coalition, is that you're not in it alone. This is this is community, which is another aspect of culture, that we're creating this community to respond to this environment of patriarchy together. And that's why I really want to be a part of this. And I
Thank
hope that more and more women will be.
Yes. Does anyone have any questions for us? Thank you so much to the folks who are tuning in. I haven't seen any questions pop up, but the event itself that we're talking about is July 20th in Sausalito. You
That's
can learn
Monday.
about
It's coming
that.
Monday.
Yes, you can learn about it by going on interracialsisterhoodcoalition.com. You can share my referral link. Okay. Um, oh no, not that. Okay. Um, you can join us on Monday if you are a white woman. Maybe you don't live in the Bay Area. You can join. I have a weekly white woman town hall that's on Zoom. You can sign up for that on interracialsisterhoodcoalition.com. You can connect with Anita Gail Jones and me here on LinkedIn. Do you want to share your website, Anita, for people who are interested in learning more about you and the work you do? I can put
Yes,
it
I have
here.
2 websites that you can go to. My the website for my writing is anitagailjones.com, and you can go there and learn about a lot about my debut novel, The Peach Seed, that came out in 2023. And I'm also in the throes of working on the final edits of the second book, which is called Head Rag. But I took the time to do this because it's so important, but I'll be right back into my editing after this. And then we have a family charity called Gaines Jones Scholars. So you can go to gaines-jones.org to learn about what we're doing. You've been given scholarships.
Gaines.
GAINES, gaines-jones.org. We've been giving future ready scholarships in the Bay Area where we live, my husband Rob Rurick and I, and in Southwest Georgia, where I'm from. We've been doing scholarships for over 20 years for our scholars, and we have some amazing young people that have been out, or some are now in college or going to college in the fall, and it's just been an honor and a privilege to provide help, financial help for these students. And it was all done. We founded the charity in memory of my mother, father, and sister. Let me call their names: Mrs. Irene Gaines Jones, Mr. Silas Jones, and my sister, Dr. Betty Jean Jones. She was a PhD in American theater. And they all passed away in the 90s. My sister in a plane crash in 97. So we started this scholarship fund in their memory. And you can learn all about that at gaines-jones.org. Thank you
Thank you.
for letting me plug that.
Of course, of course. And thank you for your incredible service to young people in their memory and for keeping their stories alive and their names alive. It's so beautiful reading about your mother, father, and sister. Deeply, deeply touched me. I highly recommend going on Gaines that gaines-jones.org. Yes.
And even, from my website, from anitagailjones.com, there is a link there that says family charity. You can go from there too. So, but let's get back to sisterhood.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
cover. What's happening?
we have a comment. No questions. I so appreciate you ladies and your commitment to educating white women on this topic. I am 71, but never too late to learn, so I can share with my granddaughters.
Yes,
100%. We love it. Yes. At the most recent Interracial Sisterhood event, we had 4 mothers who brought their daughters, or daughters who brought their mothers. We had several grandmothers in the room. That is exactly what we are trying to do, is to get the wisdom of older women and the wisdom of younger women.
Yep.
And share it with each other and influence each other, and bring each other along. So thank you so much for that comment. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I appreciate your time this morning. Anita, and for all your kindness. And I'm looking forward to our time together on Monday. I just can't wait. It's going to be so powerful.
Oh, how long were we on the phone the other day? Almost, it was an hour and a half at least. I know
At
it was an hour
least,
and a half.
yes.
And after that conversation, our notes had notes. We were writing, furiously writing and making notes. There's so much to talk about, what we're going to role play, how we're going to do that. So it's going to be a really, really engaging and powerful one on Monday. I'm looking forward to it. And thanks again, Karen, for inviting me to join you. And I want to make sure that people understand I'm not coming to this as any kind of therapist or psychological professional that can solve anybody's problems in that way. You put it a nice way. You said we're coming from our shared experience. How did you put that? I
We're
like
coming, our authority is rooted in our lived
that's
experience.
it. Our authority is rooted in our lived experience.
We're
Yes.
not clinicians. We're not, as you said, therapists or someone who can help people with it. But we are people who have experienced many things and are good storytellers. And we're both deeply humanitarian, and we see the humanity in everyone and want good things for all people. So that's the spirit in which we are going to be there on Monday and
Yes.
throughout.
Thank you for that. I need to write that down so I can articulate it in that way. Okay.
I don't think you should use that
I'm
word.
sorry. Pardon me. That was not. Well, we talked about having fun with the topic.
There you go. There you go.
You
There
know,
you
earlier we were talking about how
go.
it's okay for this to be fun. And
Yes.
what it reminded me of is, you know, writing a novel, if nothing else, it is problem solving, because you're
Mhm.
creating these problems. Number one, there's no story without trouble, so you're creating as much trouble as you can for these fictional folks, but then you have to figure out how to solve the problem. So just in all of my research into the USA's terrible past of tyranny, is really hard. And what gives me such um, I'm not sure what that word is, such relief around it, is finding the joy inside the tyranny. And that is what enslaved people did so well, through the music and the dance and all of the cultural stuff we create to respond to that environment of tyranny. And that's what was important to me in writing my stories. I wanted to find the tender moments inside those enslaved cabins, where people were tender with each other. They were human with each other when everything outside was trying to show the opposite for them. Because we know that those tender moments had to exist, or I wouldn't be here, because nobody would have been uh, making babies. It would have just been, just there's no reason to live. So people found reasons to live and made a way out of no way when it looked impossible.
Mm.
So yes, it's okay for us to have fun. Our ancestors sure did, or they would not have survived without the music and the dance and the stories and the joy, creating joy. It's okay to create joy. It's what we have to do in order to survive this mess
Yes.
that's coming
Yes.
at us as a tidal wave.
So thank you, Anita, for sharing your stories, your wisdom, your beauty, your joy. And thank you to everyone who tuned in. And yes, join us on Monday if you can. If not, we have another event coming up in August, in September, etc., etc., and the weekly White Women Town Halls. So,
So much going on.
bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for joining.